Hi, hello, how are you? Amanda, Seint artist. I'm gonna do my makeup. I'm gonna do the basics. I am going to be doing 4 colors, the very basic setup if you wanna try the makeup. And this week I'm highlighting the Buff brush. This is a really great brush if you like a fuller coverage. The denser the brush, the fuller the coverage. You can get light coverage with this makeup, with this brush. But today I'm going to be doing the Buff brush. I just want to show how every brush can be used. One brush can do your whole face. You don't need to buy. I know I use a lot of brushes when I do some of my tutorials, but I do like to show that one brush does do it all, and it doesn't matter what brush you pick. You can do your whole face with it. All right, so the colors I'm using today, my main highlight, Sandy. I have my white peach as my brightening. Today's contour is going to be Astoria, and then I have pink grapefruit for my cheeks. So let's get started. All right, I'm gonna use the larger end, and I'm gonna go into my main highlight. I'm gonna tap into it, and I am going to do just the lower part of my jaw here, and then I'm gonna bring it up. Just a smidge. I have some discoloration from old acne scarring, and I'm gonna push it into my nose, and I'm just going to blend it. And I'm staying away from this upper area because all of our colors are foundational coverage. So that's what's great about Seint makeup. What I'm using is every color that's in your palette is 80% pigmentation and all works as foundational coverage. Just tapping in, I'm just putting it on the tip of my brush, and I just steeple this down my cheek on the lower part, and then I come up just a little bit just to get into the crease of my nose. I don't like to apply cream to that area. I like to move my cream and blend it there, just because it is creams and it is highly pigmented, and no product should ever be put there and then blended away. Otherwise it can look cakey and creasy, and we don't want to do that. So we just push it there. I apply it, and then I move it all where I want to go. I'm going to put it just a little bit on the top mid of my forehead, from the top of this brow to the top of this brow, just like that with the larger end. And that's it for my main foundation. I'm leaving the center and my under eyes without my main highlight. I'm going to be using my lighter highlight, which is a brightener. We're bringing the lightness in because our face isn't one color. Our face is not one dimensional. So we're able to put our makeup on that way. So I'm going to go to the small end, and I'm going to tap into my brightening, and I'm going to go right here in between my brows, and I'm going to blend it in to that main highlight. I'm going to use my finger, and I'm going to tap this down the bridge of my nose, just like that. Just add some brightness, and then a little bit over my lip and under my lip. And I'm just bringing lightness in to the center of my face, and then I'm going to just blend that in to my main highlight, and they just marry together, and it evens out the skin tone. Just like that. So you can see it doesn't look like I've got white and then I've got my darker color. It all blends really well together and just gives you a nice and even tone. So I'm just going to blend that brightening here. I'm going over the top of my brows since I've already done them. Otherwise I really wouldn't care, and I'd just smear it everywhere. I'm just blending it out. I'm going to leave the bridge of my nose alone for when I contour, which is what I'm going to go do now. I'm going to go in with, I like to use the smaller end, and I'm going to go into Astoria, and I'm going to tap onto it just a bit, and I'm going to go down either side of my forehead because, again, we are not one-dimensional. We're going to add some shadowing where there's already natural shadowing, and this just gives your face that warmth that it needs in that shadow that you have. Does that make sense? The difference between a contour and a bronzer is coolness. Your shadow is cool, whereas a tan is more warm. So if you use your bronzer as a contour, it can make your face look a little orange when it doesn't need to. And look at that. I have this dimension on my forehead, one layer of makeup, brightening, my main, and my contour, and they marry together and just even out in a really beautiful, natural way. It keeps that sheen, that dewiness that your skin naturally has, and your makeup lives with you, not on you, which is really great. And it just looks natural, more youthful. You'll look younger than when you put all that powder on to set it all, I promise. All right, so I'm going to go in with that small end again, and I'm going to go just on the edge over here, like that. And I'm going to go on either side of my nose, and I'm just going to draw a straight line, just like that. So on the edge here, And I'm just going to draw a straight line on either side of my nose. And I'm going to blend that into my brow when I blend it. So I'm just going to go up and down, and I'm going to blend this up to my brow because our shadow naturally goes there. And I never blended the bridge of my nose, and I'll show you why in a minute. I'm going to put a little more on, and I'm just going to tap this onto the tip of my nose to structure my nose. You see how it just kind of structures my nose? I have a little bit of a bump on my nose, and contouring it helps mask that, helps make it look straighter than it is. And there we go. I straightened my nose, structured it the way I like my nose to look. And I'm just pulling that shadowing down because that's what shadows do. I'm going to go in and I'm going to shadow my cheeks next. So I like my cheekbones, and so this is a way I'm able to accentuate my cheekbones. If you look, you can see I have a shadow down here. I'm going to apply my contour above it, not on my cheekbone, but if you feel it, you can feel where your cheekbone goes, and mine comes like this. So I'm going to put contour on, and I am going to follow that cheekbone. You can do it with your finger also, so just apply some to your finger, find that cheekbone, and just follow it. And you don't want to come in past the outer corner of your eye. That's it. So I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to blend this, and I'm pushing up, and I'm going to underblend it. So I want to see it. I want it to not be perfectly blended. I want to see that gouge still, but I'm just blending it out just a bit. It's all about the process. You got to trust the process. Okay, so I've underblended it. It's not perfect, and that's okay because I'm going to add cheek, and that's going to blend into it. So if you blend it all now and then you put your cheek on, you're going to blend it away and then it's gone. All right, so next we're going to put a little more on. I'm going to go in front of my earlobe, and I am going to blend down my jaw. And I push up in front of my ear towards that cheekbone, and what doing this does is it structures your jaw, and it gives it a little definition. And then I'm going to pull it down my neck because shadows fade. All right, adding a little more, and I'm going to go in front of my earlobe and down my jaw like that. And again, pushing up and down. But do you see how it just structures my jaw right there? The key is just making sure it's blended. Otherwise, it looks like you've got a dirty mark on your face or that you just plain forgot. So here we go. There we are. Pushing up to that cheekbone. And it just structures the jaw. It slims the face, and it just is good. All right. Next, I'm going to go in with the big end, and I'm going to go into pink grapefruit here. I'm going to tap it in, put a little bit on. You barely see it, but because they're pigmented, it shows. And I'm just going to go, I like to start in the middle, and then I tap up and down. I smile so I can see where my apples are, so I'm not applying it where I think my apples are, and then it's in the wrong place. And I'm just going to go up and down, and I'm also pushing into that contour. And this is where I mean where you can blend it away, but you see how they just married together really well. Ta-da! All right, going into pink grapefruit, starting in the middle and tapping up and then down. And you're going in to that contour that we underblended. And now it just looks like you put blush on and you have this natural shadowing that gives your cheeks a little, you know? There we go. I'm going to take my finger. I'm going to tap over that brightening right here. Because I forgot, which I do a lot. There we go. Look at that. Nice natural looking nose. Okay, I'm going to go into the small end and I'm going to go back into my brightening. I like to do my under eyes after I've done my cheeks because sometimes I go a little ham and I'll put my blush way too high. So this helps me kind of rein it in and it blends it really well together. So I'm going to go into my brightening, put a little on the tip, and I'm going to go right here in this corner here. I like the buff brush because it's angled, so I can go into the corner of my eye and you have a little more control. And I'm just going to put it right in that corner there, add a little more, and I'm going to come right up here. And doing this part, one, it helps the unity of the brightening, but it also will give you an eye lift. So I'm going to tap that in and I'm going to bring it down and I'm just going to tap. I don't like to move this part of my face very often, so I don't like to rub it with my brush very frequently because I don't want to mature my under eye. And I'm going to flip it to this big end so you can see where I have my blush and my brightening, and I'm going to tap that bigger end in and marry them together. Do you see how fast that was? So good. It's just about going back and forth, flip, 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 blend, 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 blend. Do you see the difference though? I mean, I've given myself an eye lift. It's just good. And here you can see where I have blush and I have that under eye, and I can do my main highlight here also, but adding that brightness makes you look like you've had a lot of sleep. It's more youthful. And again, it pulls that eye up really nice. So I'm going to go into that small end again. I'm going to tap into my brightening, and I'm going to go right here into the corner. And I like to move into that tip and up. Does that make sense? So I'm tapping flat, and then I turn it so that the pointy end goes up into that corner right there, really nice and tight. Tap in a little more, and I'm going to put it right up here. I get a little discoloration just in that corner. So adding this helps cover that. And I'm going to bring it down, and I'm going to blend it all together like that. Flip it to that bigger end, and I'm just going to marry that cheek into that brightening, flipping it back over. And do you see how just going back and forth, I'm not adding more product, I'm using what's already there, just makes it all work together, and it just gives you this really pretty finish. It's just a really good finish. I don't know how to explain it. This is a really great way of applying your makeup so you have one layer of makeup on, you're not layering a bunch on, you're not adding texture to your skin. Texture is texture. You can't, if you have extra large pores, if you have fine lines and wrinkles, makeup's not going to remove that. It's there. But your makeup doesn't have to accentuate it, which is why I like Seint makeup, because it's creams. It lives with your skin, and look at this. Do you see how it just has this really beautiful, natural glow? I don't have a shimmer on. It's just the creams taking what's already on my skin and just glowing with it. I'm going to take my setting spray, I'm going to spray it up, and I'm going to let it fall, and that's it. That's my face. One brush, did my whole face, one layer of makeup on my face, and it's just so easy, and it's so good. So message me, we'll get you color matched. You can try the very basics. Under $100 to get 4 colors, a palette, and a brush. Under $100. That's a good deal because you're not going to get foundation, concealer, blush, and contour, a brush, and something to hold it in for under $100. Anyway, have a good day.